Hello everyone, hi! I'm gonna show you today how I plan my reading for the new year and how I kind of just reset everything in my reading life in order to start into the new year in an organized way, in a structured way, and with a sense of excitement. I really love doing this in December every year because it makes me feel like I'm really prioritizing what's important to me, and I'm doing what I can to set myself up for a good reading year instead of just kind of leaving it up to chance what will happen and what books will fall into my lap and all that. So that's what today is for. I'm gonna go through these 3 steps in real time, starting with step 1, which is all about reflecting on the year that has just passed, which is so important because we really need to take an honest look at ourselves, I think, in order to make good plans. So that's what this first step is about. I'm gonna need my journal for that, so hold on a moment. So this is my 2025 journal, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna flip to a new page and answer 2 questions. They're very simple. The first one is just what went well in my reading life in 2025, and the other one is what didn't go well in my reading life in 2025. Simple, so I'm just gonna take some time to do that now. Okay, what fun. I definitely wrote some things down on either side. So what went well for me in this reading year was that it was very episodic, and I really like that. So I read a lot of books, often on the same topic. So I really felt like I was kind of taking a deep dive into different interests of mine. And that's just, I'm finding out more and more how rewarding it is to kind of read in an episodic way. So that was great. I did that with French literature at the beginning of the year. I also read quite some books on like fantasy and dreams this year. And then also I read a lot of German literature, and it was always kind of like packaged together within a couple of months. So I don't know, that's just really, really rewarding. The next thing that went really well was my reading habit. I'm really trying to stick to reading for 30 minutes right after I get up. Now, I don't do that every single day, but for the most part, it has really stuck this year. And that's just so good. Like, it's setting me up on a good note for the rest of the day. And yeah, it's like the main thing I want to take with me. And then the last thing that I think went well this year for me was that I have read in many different languages. I didn't shy away from reading in German. I read a lot of books in German, maybe half of the ones I read or something. And I also read quite a lot in French. So I've definitely come away from my tendency of only reading English books. And I'm just really happy about that. Like, it makes me feel at ease to, I don't know, tap into these languages that I actually really love so much. Like, it somehow makes me feel very balanced on the inside. Okay, now for things that didn't go so well, I have 2 points. The first one is about the fact that I've put a lot of pressure on myself with like specific reading goals and habits at the beginning of the year. If you remember, I've made a video about it, but I basically thought I'm gonna read one poem every week and analyze it, and read one essay a month. And, it went well for the first 1 or 2 months of the year, but the truth is that as soon as uni really gets going, I can't keep up with those like small, specific, every week I have to do something else kind of habits. Like they really start to overwhelm me. And it's been sobering to see this year that I can't expect myself to keep up with like so many little things when it comes to reading that I think would be great. It's just, I don't know, it's way too overwhelming. And then the second thing that didn't go so well is that I read way too many books at the same time, usually. So I have this habit, and it's fine. Like, it's fine if it's 2 or 3 books, but if it becomes more than that, if I have like 5 or 6 books going at the same time, I just don't feel like I'm making progress on any of them, and it's very frustrating. Like I lose touch with them, and I don't know, it's kind of a problem I've had for a long time, but yeah, that's not good. And then something that is kind of connected to that is that just my reading feels very chaotic at times, again with having many books on the go at the same time, but also my bookshelf is there. I mean, the truth is there's just not enough room on my bookshelf, and I'm constantly having to rearrange it. And then I so often take books down for uni or to make videos or something, and I don't put them back immediately, and then there's like stacks of books everywhere, and it's hard to find things, and it's just like physical clutter is really like mentally draining for me. So yeah, that chaotic aspect to my reading life, that didn't go so well either. Okay, so I'm just gonna end my reflection with a couple of little last questions. And the first one is, if I had to sum up my reading year in one word, what would it be? And to me, that's definitely episodic. And the second question is, what was my dominant feeling associated with reading for me this year? And that to me is definitely hectic but good. So I felt a little bit frantic. I was definitely challenged. I feel like I read a lot for me, I'm not a very fast reader usually. I don't read like hours a day, so I definitely pushed myself, but it was like in a good way. It's good. It's good to be busy. It's good to be doing the things I love. So I'm gonna say hectic, but good. Okay, so now having all that information on one page, I'm just gonna take a couple of minutes to write down 2 or 3 things that I learned about myself as a reader this year, based on what I have already written down. That should be quite quick. Okay, so the things I learned about myself as a reader that this year is that 1, I love deep dives in my reading. 2, a daily reading habit is really important to me. Like, it's such a pillar to my mental well-being. And thirdly, too many reading habits overwhelm me. So all of that is good information, and we're gonna take that with us to the next step now, step number 2, and that is making a plan for the new year. For this step, I'm gonna go to a new page in my journal, and I'm gonna call this page 2026 Reading Plans. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write over the habits I want to take with me from the previous year. So to me, that's definitely my 30-minute reading practice in the morning, and then my episodic reading. And now I'm just gonna think about what I want to do reading-wise next year. To me, it's already pretty clear that I want 2026 to be all about German literature. I really want to create the equivalent of my French literature course, but for German literature. And, German is my mother tongue. I feel like I have such a gap in my knowledge when it comes to German literature, and I'm so eager to get in and kind of read myself through the centuries in this beautiful language. So I'm gonna show you something actually. Oh, I can barely hold it up. I went to the library and these are all books about the history of German literature. So I'm just gonna take some time now to go through these and make myself a really good reading list of German classics for the next year. Now, I don't know yet when this new course that I haven't started working on, when it will come out, because I would like it to come out in summer, but I'm also realistic in the sense that I'm gonna have a lot to do for uni this next year. I might write 2 bachelor theses, so I'm just gonna need to be really focused on whatever those topics are gonna be. And I know a course like the one on French literature that I created, it's just incredibly time consuming. So I don't think I'm gonna force myself like to set a strict timeline and to get it done by the summer or anything. But I will do what I can to do as much reading as I can in 2026, and we'll just see how far I go. So yeah, let's dig into those. I'm really excited. It was really heavy carrying them home, but now I'm so happy to have them here. Let's take a look. Okay, so I found clarity on what I want my 2026 reading goals to be. I think I'm just gonna read as much German literature as I can, but without stressing myself out if, my studies get in the way. Like if I just need to do more for my bachelor's thesis this year, that's fine. Like I'm not gonna cling to a certain number of books that I have to get through or anything. And I'm also not gonna stress myself out about, creating the German literature course in 2026. Like if it happens, that's great, but yeah, I can't put that kind of stress and pressure on myself right now. So my plan is that I'm gonna come up with a list of 30 or so books of German literature that I'm gonna want to read. I don't know if I'm gonna make it through in 2026, and if I have the list ready by the time this video goes up, I'll post it in the description box below because I know y'all are nosy. I know y'all want to know. Yeah, so I'm not done going through these books, obviously. So I'm just gonna take a little bit more time in the next days to do that, come up with a list of works that I think are representative and important, And then together with the German literature that I've already read in the past, I think I'll have a big enough pool and enough experience out of which I can then create the German literature course when the time has come. So yeah, that feels really good to me. So all that's left to do now is that I'm gonna end this goal setting page with the question of how I want to feel when it comes to my reading in 2026. So what would I like my dominant feeling to be? And for me, what came up is just thorough. Like I want to read thoroughly. I want to really like get to the bottom of things and give every book the time of day and just, I don't know, like really, in German you say, sich einlassen auf ein Buch. I'm sure there's gonna be smart people in the comments who can tell you what it is in English, as always. Like, as always, when I can't come up with a word, there's someone in the comments who does, and I'm very appreciative for that. But it basically just means you're giving a book your all, you are really there with it, you're attentive, you're present. So I don't know. Is thorough a feeling though? Thoroughly, that's a feeling. So I'm just gonna write that down here on the bottom of my page. And now to end this planning phase, I'm just gonna take one of those index cards and write down the most important points of what I journaled about today. So, you know, what I learned about myself, what my plans are for 2026, just in a few words, and my preferred feeling, so that I have it ready when I am making my vision board for 2026. Because the process I'm taking you through today, I'm also doing that, you know, kind of on a big level for my entire life around the turning of the year. So when I do that, I already have this ready. So, you know, I don't have to reflect on my reading life anymore. And I'm definitely gonna put some pictures on my vision board to kind of motivate me and to represent my intentions for my 2026 reading. Okay, and the third and last step for my reading reset is always cleaning up. Because in order for me to start well into the new reading year, I just need to physically clean up my space. You know how Gustave Flaubert always said, you should be regular and orderly in your life so that you may be violent and original in your work, I think. It's that. So I need to just put all the books that are laying around in my apartment back on the shelves. There's also a couple of books that I still need to finish reading before the year ends, and I still have to make my index card. If you want to know more about my exact reading process, by the way, you should really check out my How to Read course. In it, I show you exactly what I do with the book once I've finished reading it in order to remember its contents. So there's a bit of work to do like that, so that's what the rest of the day is gonna be for. And if you have any reading goals for 2026, do let me know. I'd really love to hear them. And if you're doing this process, I would also really love to hear that. And if you have any other tips that I maybe didn't think about or something you always do for the new year, do let me know that as well.